Hi, I'm Maisie Peters, and this is my debut album, You Signed Up For This, track by track.
I am 20 and probably upset right now. I still haven't got my driver's license.
The first song on the album is called You Signed Up For This, the namesake of the album. I wrote it with Joe Rubel, who I wrote and produced at least half of this album with. And You Signed Up For This was the last song we wrote on the last day. We were at a studio called Decoy Studios in Suffolk, which is my favourite place in the world. And we were talking about what the first track of the album was going to be, and I knew I didn't have one, and I knew I wanted to write one. I wanted to sort of set out and make that statement, make that first song that sort of opened the album, almost like the first chapter of a book, really. So Joe had already played me this synth noise that you hear at the start of the song, and I just sort of absent-mindedly sang out, I am 20 and probably upset right now, and I still haven't got my driver's license, and I'm sorry to make it about myself again, but you signed up for this, as the first verse. And I sort of sang it as a joke to Joe, like, oh, this is funny. But Joe was like, no, I think that's good. And then the rest of the song just came super naturally, and it was basically just setting the scene in my life at the time. I was 20, I was moving to London. So there's just loads of nods to sort of my life then and who was around me. I say I'm 5'1", will I grow? No, that's probably it. I guess Ellen was right, and Ellen's my twin sister. So yeah, there's just loads of fun nods to who I was at the time and what I was sort of anticipating, and yeah, it's a opening scene.
We were bad, but we're gonna be good. It didn't work like I saw.
I'm Trying is the next song on the album, and I wrote it again with Joe Rubel. We wrote the song entirely over WhatsApp and FaceTime. He sent me the little clapping beat, and I wrote all of the sort of the song parts of it, the chorus, the first verse, go back and forth, because this was in, I think, it was in a lockdown, I don't know which one. And yeah, this is one of my favourite songs. I love the lyrics in the song, I love the middle eight. It's sort of a song about being resentful and petty and lying, but sort of having a really almost like ridiculously bravadoed, brave face to all of it.
It's not like I've been crying, no.
John Hughes Movie is the third song on this album. It is the oldest song on this album. I wrote it when I was 17, and it was the first song to come out from this album. And yeah, it's really, I think this album has a lot of themes of like teenagehood and sort of blissful naivety and romanticized melodramatic tales of like love and woe, and I think John Hughes Movie really encapsulates that. It has such high highs and such low lows, and it's cool that it comes third. I think it like breathes sort of like fire and life into the start of that album.
I smile through form all Monday, hoping.
Track 4 is Outdoor Pool. It was written by myself and Joe Rubel and John Green, and yeah, we started the idea, I think it was at like 12:30 at night. I have a voice note that says outdoor pool idea at midnight. And again, it really like feeds that theme of sort of teenage melodrama. It's one of the funniest memories of making this album, because the song is so sad, and it's the line where I go, is she gonna be your girlfriend? Guess I misunderstood. It's the worst day of my life, but it's all good. And it really broke everybody's hearts. We all felt 15 and like our crush had kissed us at the outdoor pool and then not called us back. But there's loads of really fun like British symbolism and imagery. We were talking a lot about skins when we were writing it, and there's a lot of stuff about rugby sweatshirts and HMV and driver's license and supermarkets, and I smiled through form all Monday. Then I heard by the science lockers, Kate caught you kissing the French exchange. So there's just loads of really like fun words, and yeah, it's like one of the saddest songs on the album.
Now it's coming up roses, kicking up snow.
Track 5 is Love Him I Don't. It's my favourite song on the album. It just feels to me like the culmination of a lot of years of sort of writing and recording, and as someone who loves music, it feels like all the things I love the most about music in one song. It's a hopeful song. It's a sad song to me, but it's a hopeful song. I guess it's about reclaiming how you feel about somebody. It's like a song of intent. It says how you want to feel, how you know you're going to feel, and I just think, yeah, there's something really like beautiful and really sad in it. And I love one of my favorite lyrics, and when we did it, it just sort of came so quickly, which was love him I don't, love him I won't, love him I did for a minute, but I'm finished because I've learned. And yeah, I think that I think I'll always love that song. There's a lot of me in that song, and yeah.
Put blame on anyone but you.
Track 6 is Psycho. This was the last song we wrote for the album. I wrote it with Ed Sheeran and Steve Mack, and it was one of those Hail Mary sessions you do right before you finish a project where you just think, fuck it, like let's just try something else, let's do something totally sort of off the beaten track and see if we get anything good. If not, it's fine, the album's basically done. We did Psycho, which became a single, and it's this like sort of huge, like fun, ABBA-esque pop disco dance number, which has been so fun. I've done it at a few festivals. It's just been the best time ever.
Boy, I think I'm dumb, trying to pull one on me like I've never been kissed.
Boy is track 7. 7 is my lucky number, so maybe that means good things for Boy, who knows. I wrote Boy with Joe Rubel and Ed Sheeran, and it was actually on the first day myself and Ed met. I went up to Suffolk again, sort of the holy place of this album apparently. I went to Suffolk, we wrote Hollow, then we had dinner, and then we were all we'd had some wine, everyone was feeling fun, and they were like, oh, let's go back to the studio and see what we can make. So we went back, and I think we started talking about fuckboys, and Joe and Ed were very interested in my opinions and my takes as a young woman. So we were just all like laughing, and then we were like, oh, let's write a song called Fuckboy. So we did this song, it was super quick, it was so funny. This is truly like, we were all just hysterical on the floor for many reasons, many of these lyrics. Flash forward a year later, we decided to put it on the album. We were like, well, maybe it should go on the album. So I went back into the studio, some more things had happened, I was feeling petty, so I added some lyrics. We actually took out the fuck, now it's just boy. So it used to go, this is Inside Scoop, it used to go, 'cause you're a fuck boy, and now it's just, you're a boy. And now I actually love it even more because it just sounds like you're a boy, like, you're a boy. Hollow is track 8. Again, it was written on the same day as Boy, and yeah, I think it was a really special song. Like, looking back, it was sort of the first song myself and Ed wrote together. It came super quickly. It's just like it's like a real heartbreak song. And the chorus came really quickly. I think Ed played those chords and went, I just feel hollow. And then yeah, it hurt so loud, further than down. You left me hollow, are you happy now? I hope you're happy now. And I always thought that was really sort of poignant and good when we wrote it, like the sort of the tone in which you can sing, are you happy now? I hope you're happy now. It's like, I feel like it means so much depending on where you are in your life and what's happening. So my favorite lyric, maybe of the whole album, is in that song, and it's, you're the one that got away, and you got away with a lot.
Of course I wanted you to stay, but you didn't. No, you didn't.
Track 9 is Villain. I love this song. This song was really inspired by sort of a lot of musical influences. Bruce Springsteen, I'm on Fire, Brandon Flowers, Between Me and You, which is my favorite ever song. And the sonics of that world, we were really trying to carry into Villain. One of the reasons I love Villain is because a lot of this album, it feels very like you want answers from somebody else. You've been hurt by somebody else, and you want them to know, and you're not the main character anymore. You're not the person who gets to be upset. So that's sort of Villain, and yeah, I really love that song.
Don't even ask us. Sushi and a fake ID.
Track 10 is Brooklyn. This song is about when myself and my sister went to New York in 2019. We went on holiday together. It was our first holiday together without our parents. She's my twin sister. And it wasn't intentional. I didn't set out to write it, but I just woke up one morning with Francis, and we were talking about what to write, and I just started writing that first verse about me and Ellen going to New York. I must have been talking about it the day before. And so I basically just decided to document our trip. So everything in it is true. I say, noodles for breakfast, terrible tickets, because I let Ellen book the flights, and she booked them at like 2:30 a.m. And she wore a tracksuit, and I hate her tracksuits. And we only had one jacket, so I let her wear it, and she slept the whole way on the flight, and I don't sleep on flights, so obviously I was like really bitter about that. And then I say, sushi and a fake ID, or Katie from Michigan, and we did go out. We went out for sushi, and then we went out with a friend of mine who lives in New York. And I took a photo of her with her fake ID on that night because it was funny. And then when I was writing the song, like a year later, I found that photo and I zoomed in, and I found out that that girl was called Katie, and she was from Michigan, so I put it in the song. So Katie from Michigan, you are in a song.
I'm thinking about late nights in the old arcade, drinking cheap wine as Elvis plays.
once we knew John Hughes' movie was coming out, Elvis always felt like the natural older sister to John Hughes' movie, so it just made sense that it also came on this album. So yeah, we finished it, and I re-sang some bits of it, and it's on the album, and it's a song about nostalgia and regret and feeling like you made the wrong decision and missing somebody and not knowing how to tell them that you miss them. And it's also a song about being young and like sleeping on sofa beds and getting on the Northern Line. I really love the song, and it feels like my arena song. It's the victory lap. It's lighters in the air.
Oh, I can't stop, I can't just.
Track 12 is Talking to Strangers. It's a really simple song. It's really pretty and classic and elegant, and it's just a love song. It's just saying, I can't stop, I can't just not tell the whole wide world in this room. I can't stop, even if I wanted to, talking to strangers about you. And yeah, it's a really effortless, it feels a lot like a sort of ode to my earlier stuff and the singer-songwriter roots that I sort of have come up through, and I like that it came at the end of the album, and it was sort of a return to form right at the end.
All or nothing, you chose nothing, pulled a parachute as the ground came rushing.
Volcano, the second to last song, it's a song about people who you feel like never really pay the consequences for their actions, and it's a song. There's like a lot of hurt in that song. There's a lot of anger. It feels like a girl's song for other girls, and it's really fun. Actually, I got a really close friend of mine, Greta Ray, who's an amazing artist, to sing harmonies and backing vocals on this song, and she was there for like a lot of challenges or struggles I've had. She's been like someone I really lent on, so it was really cool to get her singing in the song. I think it was airing a lot of things I wanted to say at the time, and I really love this song. It's one of my favorites on the album.
And all the reasons, took a couple tries to see 'em.
Tough Act is the last song on this album. It was intended to come out before this album was even made. It was intended to come out early 2020, but something about it just didn't feel right. And then I remember discussing the album, and I had like a light bulb moment on the overground, and I texted Joe Rubel, and I said, Joe, I think Tough Act needs to be the last song on the album, because then you end the album singing, you are one tough act to follow. And I just liked the poetry of that. And I also feel like tonally and thematically, Tough Act does seem, it feels like a step, not necessarily up, but sort of forward in that it feels like a more mature perspective of a situation, and no one's to blame in this song. It's reflecting on why things don't work maybe, and also it has this really like hopeful message. And you know, I say, when all you know of is something that you should let go of, I'll cut it at the root and drain it till it's also hollow, but you were one tough act to follow. And I think that as a message felt like the right thing to end this album on. Thank you so much for listening to my track by track. This was super fun. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I see you at a show soon. Bye bye.
And I know